like you're a great guy, and there's potential for us.
Tell me again. Tell me again. I forgot. Tell me again. Refresh my memory.
I mean, you alright, but you top of my list,
there you go.
but
You trying to hide.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. We're giving you guys the Ready to Love reviews. Listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe. For those who are returnees, you ain't got the minerals, baby. Okay, I ain't got the short sleeve slut to whoa. I meant to say I ain't got the short sleeve slut. Alright, cool. We're going to be talking to you guys about Mario and Reva today. We're going to be breaking down some of the behavior patterns that was happening, which was quite interesting. I think because when I was watching, obviously, Mario and Reva was behaving in the exact same way that we've previously seen with Kerry before. So we're going to just break down some of the behavior patterns and just kind of just bring you into the mind of both individuals who are talking.
Let me ask you this. When you think about Ree, it's like, damn, but Ree, boo, boo, boo. You think about Tanya, it's like, Tanya, da-da-da. Like, what are those things, like those attributes that just got you so torn between, like, the two of us?
You know, he's going to have to make a choice. He's going to have to figure it out in a sense. And for me, it's like, I remember I said this from the last episode, I was like, I didn't understand where the Reva thing came along so quickly because we never saw any progression. We never saw anything like that. So they might have been talking behind the scenes, but we never saw anything like that. And I think what's quite interesting, which we'll explore a little bit later on, is the way that Reva's obviously saying that she's presented, she's made her play, she's made it known that she likes Mario, and the way she's done that is by throwing her body at him.
You trying to hide them feelings.
No.
You see, you scared to put them out there.
No, I'm just cautious now. I put a lot out there at the pool, and I feel like that backfired.
And I shouldn't say throwing, because the word throwing really kind of starts to create an image in your mind. She's used her body as a way, or actions I should say, she's used her actions as a way to kind of say to him, look, Mario, I'm interested in you. Which for me is quite interesting because I believe that words are just as powerful as actions, if not more. And I think when it comes to situations like this, it's important to have words spoken so we know where you're coming from. But she's dictating that. She's already shown him how she felt through her action. Now, what was the action? Because this is the most important thing. What was the action then? Well, the action that we saw was that they were in a swimming pool and had her legs wrapped around his body. Now, she's going to make a comment a little bit later on where she goes and says, you know what, that Mario can't kiss these lips just yet because blah, 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 blah. But I think to myself, hold on a minute, but you wrapped your legs around him in a swimming pool with his crotch in your midriff area. So I don't understand where you're saying about the kiss thing, like as if the kiss thing is more intimate. I don't know, maybe that's you guys, maybe you guys can shed a bit more light to that. But if the kissing is more intimate than you wrapping your legs around the guy that you say you like with both of your midriffs in each other's areas, I don't know what is that for me. That's for me. If you saw your partner doing that, how would you feel? That's a step beyond just being friends, you understand? So already you've gone past the level of intimacy, so I wasn't sure what the kiss thing actually meant, but I guess obviously the kiss would be somebody who you generally care about, I guess. That's what she's trying to say. But I just found that quite interesting, the psychology of that, and which we'll explore a little bit later as well. It was quite interesting because the same way he behaved with Angela earlier on when he had a date with her, exact same way he's behaving with Reva, in the sense of he is very composed. Look, let me tell you something about Mario, yeah? That is a dangerous guy, fam. Because the guy, body language always relaxed, forward-facing. His eyes are always locked on you, always showing his interest. He talks calmly. He doesn't go at a pace that you're not going to catch him up with or understand something. And he's always articulate. And not only that, he's honest. Now that for me is scary, bruv. That's a complete package right there. So man will let you know what he's truly thinking. And the reason why I say that is because when Divine is asking London originally what he's feeling, he's having to lie about the fact he hasn't said some things to Alexis. Whereas Mario's like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. You see me and Tondi, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is how I feel about the situation. And this is how I feel about you. And to see that openness, that truthfulness, I think that's refreshing. I think that's something that's good. And so it's interesting what happens, because obviously then Reva then goes on to ask him, a question, which, you ask this question and you have to be ready for what's going to come your way. You understand? Now I know things might seem strange, but you gotta be ready for what's going to come your way. You understand? So when she asks the question about how what's the difference between herself and Tondi, I found that to be an interesting question, right? Because of what happens.
Well, for one thing, when Tondi and I are together, I mean, it's almost like she's giving me her all. She's really, showing me who she is.
Mm-hmm.
But, with you, it's pretty much like, I can tell that you're holding back.
Mm-hmm.
When Mario's explaining, obviously, why he's feeling Tondi or feeling Reva, and begins to break it down, we see obviously Reva at first, hands drop, she locks her lips, she even licks her lips a little bit as well, because the question is going to be something that's going to be personally, it's going to come back as a critique as to why he's not feeling her. So you see the first instance is that, first of all, her hands have dropped, that's calm, and then she kind of licks her lip a little bit. You see a little lick and a little bite. It feels like, I don't know if she's really biting the corner of her mouth, but she's anticipating what's about to come, because it's not about to be an easy answer.
I mean, it's almost like she's giving me her all.
Because it's going to be about her as a whole individual. Now, I don't know if you've ever received criticism. When you receive criticism from somebody, the way that you respond oftentimes might either be a verbal defensiveness, or you might feel yourself body language wise showing that defensiveness. And we see that with Reva. What she does is later on is then she breaks form when he mentions she isn't giving her all. Right?
She's really, showing me who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you see that now suddenly, when that first critique comes in, you see her face kind of shift and change when he mentions she isn't giving her all. You see that facial change, and then you're going to see her arms begin to shift from the position that it was on the table to now coming towards her face. Now you remember this because I showed you this with the Kerry situation. When Kerry was outing her, she did the exact same thing. So it's a form of defense mechanism that she does when she's now under attack, or she feels she's under attack. That's how she shows her defensiveness. That's how she guards herself. So the body begins to react instead of her actually saying something. So sometimes people might say, I'm not aggressive. You're not, but your body language is showing that you're defensive. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So when obviously he mentions, you're not really giving your, like Tondi's giving her all, but you're not really giving your all, and that first critique comes in, you watch her eyes also go down, and then she's not really focusing on him anymore. Like when someone's like, when your parents telling you almost like your parents telling you something that you don't really particularly like, and your head goes down and you look away from them, almost like you're ashamed almost the way you don't want to look at your parents, right? That's what we see here with Reva. You see her look away and turn her eyes down. She's no longer focusing on the contact, because the person who's listening uses eye contact as a way of saying, I'm actually listening to you. But when you don't use that eye contact, what it's actually saying is, I'm no longer listening to you, right? That's what the listener does. So if the listener is now looking down and looking at whatever they were on the table, and then goes to grab a drink and everything like that, and then doesn't refocus in time, what it's actually saying is, there is something else more interesting than you at this particular time and moment. Or it might say something like what Reva was saying actually in this particular case, which was, it's about to be a hard conversation, and I don't like what I'm hearing. Do you understand? And it's hard to process what you're saying because it is about me. And this is natural human being behavior. Do you understand? We see the classic Reva come out where she's supporting her chin on her hands, and she's trying to show that she's not defensive. But doing this, the body. You're showing the body that you're defending. Like I said, I showed this to you for the Kerry thing. It's like she's defending. She wants to make sure that no goals are going in. She doesn't want. She's trying to be open to what he's saying, but truthfully, the mind can't take what he's saying. And when I'm saying that, she's listening, but as she's listening, she's also feeling under attack. So the body has to react to that. The body has to show that we're under attack, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to look like the angry, loud, bitter black woman, or feel like I'm going to be that woman that's going to be argumentative because you're telling me a little bit of something. Because after all, I did ask the question, right? It's almost like asking somebody, what do you think of my work? Yeah. Now you are gonna feel a bit defensive because it is your work. It is your baby. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's natural to see that with Reva. I understood that. And then obviously she admits that she is. When he says obviously you're a bit closed off, she admits that she's closed off. But then as she's admitted that, later on down the line, she actually throws a dig at him again because she's feeling defensive. She throws a dig at him saying, "It's not. I'm not the one that's obviously between two people." And it's like, Reva, why did you throw that dig? And it's because when you're in defensive mode, when someone's critiquing you, yeah, it's you got three responses. Either you're taking on that critique well, and then you're gonna take on board what they're saying, or you're gonna be defensive in verbally, and you're gonna tell that person, "I don't like what you're saying," or say something back to them that's sly or whatever, or you're gonna be non-verbally defensive, meaning that you are listening, you're hearing what they're saying, but you're defending your mind. You're not really listening. Do you get what I'm saying? You're hearing it, but you don't really want to hear it because it is about you. It's about your perspective. It's about what it's about your weakness, and nobody really wants to hear that all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? Nobody really want to hear that. We like to think of ourselves as perfect. In fact, we like to think of ourselves as perfect until we make a mistake, and then we want to be able to judge ourselves and correct ourselves. We don't want someone else to correct us. We know we're not perfect, so we want to judge ourselves. We don't want you to judge us. I don't know if that makes sense.
People, I like those people to express themselves and say, "Well, look, this is communicate."
I ain't went nowhere.
No, you hadn't.
I'm not between you and somebody else. I'm here.
I understand.
Because the same word was mentioned here, where Mario then said, obviously, look, we just need to communicate, right? And it's interesting because this is what Reva said to Kerry at the end of the conversation. We just need to communicate. Those are the definitely words right there. We need to communicate means basically we ain't communicating, and this ain't going nowhere really. And that's what we're really saying, because when Reva said it to Kerry, it was a token. It was not really you actually really meant, "Come and talk to me." It was more of a token, like, "Yeah, okay, cool." Do you know what I mean? Yeah, come talk to me, but you don't really mean it. Do you know what I'm saying? And then same thing here with Mario. I'm not saying he doesn't really mean it, but I'm saying obviously it's more than just a communication issue. But I understand that he feels that she's very closed off, and we see that in her body language. But again, that word communication has been brought up in the same kind of fashion that it was brought up with Kerry, which is quite interesting. And to which obviously then she actually then raises her hands. She actually raises her hands in defense. She's like, I've been here, because he's like, "You're not really hearing it." And she's like, I've been here. Like, look, I'm not going anywhere, kind of thing. And that raising of the hands is like, "Hey, look, what do you want me to do? Like, you're asking me to do more," and I'm like, I'm doing loads already. And so that raising of hand just kind of shows that, obviously, again, that defensiveness, that she's unable to see that position. I'm not saying that she's right or wrong. We're just talking about why she's reacting the way she's reacting. Because of that defensiveness, she raises her hand and says, "Hey, like, what else do you want to do? Like, come on, like what more can I do? Do you know what I mean, to show you?" Well, she mentioned about the fact that obviously she's done at the pool. Like, she's basically saying, "What more can I do? You're asking me to be open, but what more could I have done? You know what I'm saying? What else could I have done that would change the way that you're acting at the moment?" And that's where she's presenting herself in this particular scenario, in that particular case as well. And that's, when she's obviously then reached her point of, like, I guess her point of biting point, where she says, like, "What do you want to do?" Her next point then is obviously then to say, "I'm not the one between two people." And that dig is a normal human behavior which happens. When someone's digging at you and you feel like someone's digging at you, you tend to dig back, yeah? Because like when you feel like someone's critiquing you and you don't like the critique, you tend to dig back, because what it is hurt, it's painful. You know what I'm saying? For someone to critique you, it's almost like someone's slapping you. And then the natural thing is for you to retaliate, because you feel like you've been hurt by the person. And so that's what we see with her, that little retaliation that she says with him, like, "Oh, I'm not between two people." Well, Reeve, you knew he was between a girl already. When you joined in on the pool side, you knew he was in between that. You knew he had a girl already. You knew he was seeing somebody already, sorry, basically, with Tondi. So this is nothing new. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're the one that's saying you want a competition. So why now is there a dig coming up about the fact it's in between two people? Why? Because she wants to equal the platform. You see, by that dig she was making, she's basically saying we're not on the same. You're saying about communication, but your communications ain't that great either. You're not trying to bring me down when you're on the same level as me. And that's what she was actually really communicating, which is, you can't bring me down, critique me when we're on the same level. But she's the one that opened up the question in the first place. And not only when she opened up the question, she actually said something. She said, I don't know what she swore or whatever, saying obviously Tondi's name, but it was no need for that adjective. I'm not saying she called Tondi that, but I'm saying there's no need for the swear word adjective there, because to be honest, you were asking a simple question about myself, yourself, and Tondi. But that added swear word there just kind of felt like there was a little bit of that that made make you feel like a little bit of silent animosity that's there, just brewing underneath the surface level. Do you get me? But can't say something too tough. But we see her hand position change. She gets her hands clasped, and then all of a sudden the hands on the chin again. Again, just showing that defensiveness that was coming after that particular answer as well. And then she even does a little shrug of the shoulders as well, because she doesn't agree now with Mario. So when Mario's obviously saying, obviously, you know what, you're not really open, you're not really, talkative, etc. She does this, and then there's a little shrug of the shoulders as well. Again to show that she disagrees, to show that again, like, what else do you want to do? Like, bruv, like, there's nothing more I can do here. And that's the kind of point she's trying to make here as well, which is quite interesting, because obviously, at the end of the day, Mario was quite far ahead with Tondi already. So Reva's joined the race quite late. I don't know what she's expecting more of Mario, but Mario's just kind of and the thing is, Mario's been quite generous by saying, obviously, look, these are the reasons why you're, like, we could be moving on further along if you just weren't so defensive and so closed off. Because that's not how I like a girl that's open. That's how he said he wants a girl that's open. That's why he probably likes Tondi so much. There's no games there. It's just like, with Tondi, you get what you're given. Do you know what I'm saying? Straight shooter. That's what it is.
It's on me. How long you been single?
I was seeing someone for 3 years, and he actually asked me to marry him. I told him yes.
Okay.
I reneged on that. He was way too insecure.
And obviously, then you see that, obviously, now then he asks about her past, basically. And you see the hands drop again, yeah? And you see her, she's rocking a little bit as she's explaining her situation in the past. So now the hands drop means that now she can relax again, because her back was against the wall when she was getting questioned, or when she was getting told about her certain behaviour. Her back was against the wall, so the hands came up again. This position to show, but then it's gone now to hands by the side. Why? Because the situation has changed. She's not being under interrogation anymore. Now it's just a simple question of, what's your past like? And now she can go, okay, cool, like, now I can answer some questions which aren't interrogatory, that not leading somewhere in that sense. And that's why her hands have come down.
Potential for us.
Tell me again. Tell me again, I forgot. Tell me again, refresh my memory.
I mean, you alright.
And obviously it's interesting as well, because obviously when he made a little comment about, when she made a little statement about, he's a very nice guy, very honest, very handsome guy, and then he said, obviously, tell me again. And you see her do this classic little girl, not little girl, but young girl reaction, where it's like, and drop the head down, and that's just that shyness that comes in now, because of the fact that obviously the person that you like likes you too. You understand? And it's like, and we guys, we do something which is very, very clever. Okay, I'll give it to us, man. We are clever in some shapes and some forms. What we call the comment. I don't know how you would call it, but let's call it a qualifying comment, which is when he says, obviously, tell me again. The tell me again is because he wants to see what reaction is going to come. Like, it's unconscious, but it's very conscious, in the sense of the fact that when you say tell me again, or like, say if a girl says, I'm good looking, I'll be like, tell me again, innit? Tell me again. And the way that she reacts to that tell me again will let me know how she's feeling towards me, right? So when she drops her head and then starts laughing, and then she has to then try and play it off like, he's got a lot. And he can see that he's got her committed in some shape or form to him, and that she likes him in a certain way. So that comment, often when we guys do it, we're trying to get inside your head. If you don't know, we're trying to get you inside your head and get you to just just to kind of see what your reaction will be, so that we know where you're standing. Hey, guys are clever, man, at least.
No, I'm just cautious now. I put a lot out there at the pool, and I feel like that backfired.
I may be torn.
Obviously, her hands go underneath her chin when they begin to mention the fact that, about the fact that, she's already put her feelings out there already. And I think that's quite interesting, because like I said, it was speaking on it earlier on, which is the fact that how did she put her feelings out there, which was through her body. And I think to herself, that also makes sense about the defensiveness. I don't think she's very used to being able to articulate her true feelings, heartfelt wise, through words, because words are so much more potent of what the heart is really saying. Don't get it twisted. Actions can work, but sometimes when your actions, when you're trying to show somebody, you're also fearful. The reason why you're acting it out and not saying it is because you're fearful of rejection, of them rejecting your word. Do you understand? Or rejecting what you said. And so therefore, that's why some people act it out oftentimes. And that will probably work in conjunction with the fact that she is very defensive. And we see that with her body language. And the fact that she's using action in terms of sexual conduct. When I say sexual conduct, in the sense of using very seductive, touchy, physical touch behaviors to actually communicate, hey, I like you. Because it's the easiest way, because if somebody rejects you, you can go, well, okay, I didn't say it. Do you know what I mean? And so that's why she's communicating with her body. Remember, as well, which is quite interesting, that when she first came, I remember I told you about the handshake that she gave London. Very regimented, very down the line, very strict almost. And I thought to myself, wow, why is she doing that for? And I thought to myself, she's used to trying to get what she wants to get. Do you know what I mean? She's very regimented. It is what it is. Boom, down the line. And so I think, you know, emotions and stuff like that are not really in her scope as such. But then obviously she goes on to explain the fact that, you know, she's been hurt in the past, and therefore the way she now approaches things obviously is very more cautious. And I can understand that, because at the end of the day, relationships are painful. Not only that, people take advantage of you in relationships. So for me, I do understand Reva, and I do understand the case of being defensive like that. But we saw that defensive with Kerry too. So it's like Mario's having to try and prize that out of her. Now whether he wants to, I don't know. And then obviously she finished off by saying, obviously, you know what, until you sort out how you feel, you know, you won't be touching these lips. And it's like, Reva, you know what, it's going to be tough, you know, trying to get Mario to shift to you, because you've come late in the race. Not only that, if you're not open, it's going to be very hard for you to actually draw him in, because that's not what attracts him necessarily. So I think he can have fun with Reva, and I think he knows he can have fun with Reva, and I think he knows there's fun to be had with Reva. But in terms of actually settling down, I think for him, it's Tondi. And that's just the way it is. That's where the cookie crumbles. So for me, Reva has probably got to rethink her strategy, because at the end of the day, fam, Mario's not going to bend. Unless Tondi does something drastic, Mario ain't bending. He's always had eyes on Tondi. And I think Reva's going to struggle to really get his attention in future. Now, I know she says she likes a challenge. I don't know if she's going to like the challenge. I think she will suffer if she continues down this lane. Because he's going to be honest about it. But because obviously I feel like, you know, Reva's defensiveness is going to hold her back from actually growing here. And this is a lesson to all of us. I mean, are we defensive? And maybe we're not saying it, but we are defensive in our actions. Maybe that's also a case. And maybe that's something we have to consider. But yeah, guys, that is the Mario and Reva situation. I really hope you guys liked it. Like, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts down below. Comment down below, and we'll talk further again. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked.